Working at that meeting in Jeddah, Jordan's Foreign Minister Ayman Safadi has been conducting a flurry of talks to diffuse tensions. He stopped in Iran on Sunday, the first such visit by a top Jordanian official in 20 years. Ayman Safadi stepping away from that meeting in Jeddah to talk to us. This is his first interview since he was in Tehran, and you have been with the acting Foreign Minister of Iran today. So I want to get your sense of Iran's thinking at this point as the region awaits for what is threatened retaliation by Iran on Israel. What do you understand to be Tehran's position at this point? And what are they trying to achieve with this meeting, Foreign Minister?
Good evening, Becky. We are in a very, very dangerous situation in the region following the assassination of the head of the political bureau of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh. Tensions have risen, obviously. What we in Jordan are saying is that the region cannot afford further conflict, further war, further destruction, and we must stop this escalation. And the first step towards stopping the escalation is ending its root cause, which is the continued Israeli aggression on Gaza. Everybody has to realize that the situation is extremely dangerous. The threat of the region being dragged into regional war is real. We do want this escalation to stop. We've been working very hard to achieve that, and we're 100% convinced that the first step towards that de-escalation is stopping the aggression on Gaza. Iran, obviously, I had discussions with the Iranian foreign minister, the Iranian president in Tehran a few days ago. I went there at the invitation of the foreign minister to try and see what we can do to bring the temperature down. They believe that they've been done a great wrong, and they believe they have the right to respond. So what we're trying to do is, again, to create conditions in which everybody will see value in de-escalating, and that would be ending the aggression, getting a permanent ceasefire, and then urging everybody to act responsibly and prevent the whole region from falling into the abyss further.
While the US Secretary of State has said that the ceasefire talks are in their final stages, sources that I talk to around this region suggest that, we are not close at this point. So given that, and given that the appeal to Iran has been from both you and others that a ceasefire is what we should be pushing for here and retaliation by default not, what is it that Tehran hopes to achieve today in Jeddah? Is this just a holding pattern at this point? We're not going to get a ceasefire today or tomorrow. I think you and I would agree on that. So is this just a holding pattern at this point by Tehran? Can we, do you believe, expect to see that threatened retaliation in the days to come?
Well, as I said, Becky, the danger is real. I think our meeting today will not be able to bring about a ceasefire. I think Iran and Palestine called for this emergency meeting to try and rally Arab Muslim position behind condemning the assassination of Haniyeh, and to urge for more effective work by the international community to end the aggression on Gaza. Again, I think we need to do something really transformative here. I think regardless of where Iran is, where Israel is at this point, if we are to force Israel to accept a ceasefire in the aggression in Gaza, ensure that we get that permanent ceasefire, then we would have created enough reason for everybody to say enough is enough. Now we have an opportunity at real de-escalation, and we should move towards that. So the talks on the ceasefire are obviously complicated, particularly after the assassination of the chief negotiator from the Hamas side, which we believe is a violation of international law and a reckless move that we condemned as a crime. But beyond that, where do we stand now? We have two paths. A path that will drag the region further into the abyss of war, or a path that would say enough is enough and save the region from the devastation of an all-out war. And we believe that if we throw into the discourse a real promise of a ceasefire, then we believe everybody will have a strong argument to say, let's not escalate any further. Everybody must exercise self-restraint and use the opportunity of a ceasefire to go further towards calming the temperature in the region at whole.
Ismail Haniyeh, described by the Qataris as the lead negotiator, of course, for Hamas in those indirect talks. His assassination, as you suggest, complicating any mediation effort. Surely you accept that the appointment of Yahya Sinwar, seen by Israel as the architect of the October 7th deadly attacks, his appointment as the political leader for Hamas at this point must further complicate the potential for any success in these ceasefire talks, doesn't it?
We are already in a very complex situation. The war on Gaza has been ongoing for 10 months. The devastation it has produced is beyond description. And we all rallied behind efforts to bring about that exchange deal to reach that permanent ceasefire that we want. But look, we've been to the door and back so many times in regards to the discussion, so I will not really say that we are near or not near until we see that deal happening. But I think the bottom line is that if there is a will to achieve that ceasefire, we believe that it can be achieved. The challenge that we have is that every time we get near, Israel does something that complicates the situation further, including, as you pointed to, the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh in the middle of negotiations, which the US, Qatar and Egypt were saying we are achieving some progress. So you come and assassinate the chief negotiator, undermine the whole process, and continue with the war in Gaza. Our message to the whole world, Becky, is that enough is enough. Enough killing and destruction has taken place. The only path forward is really to bring about an immediate ceasefire that will help de-escalate the regional situation, will save the region from the abyss of further conflict, and will protect the region from the agenda of Netanyahu, who continues to provoke, continues to escalate, and every time there's a glimpse of hope, he does something that pushes us back to the edge of the abyss. So the question is, do we allow Netanyahu and his radical government to impose their agenda on the region and doom it, therefore, to a future of more conflict? Or do we do what we all believe is right and bring about that permanent and immediate ceasefire, and then work with everybody to make sure that we are on a path that will ensure that everything that has happened since October 7 does not happen again? Nothing on the table as of yet is going beyond tactical. We believe that we should start with ending the aggression and start talking strategically about how do we launch a plan to implement a solution that will guarantee we will not relive these horrors again, and that only solution is ending the occupation and the two-state solution. We cannot be capped by what Netanyahu is willing to accept or willing to allow. Unfortunately, this has been the reality that is within which all proposals have been imprisoned thus far.
Foreign Minister, Jordan is experiencing protests on the streets once again in support of the Palestinians. In April, when there was the retaliation by Iran on Israel, well telegraphed, well flagged for the Israeli strikes on Iranian assets in Syria. Strikes, weapons were intercepted in Jordanian airspace. Given the discontent on the streets of Jordan, given the support for Palestinians, given the most recent support for Palestinians and the outright condemnation of the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh, what is Jordan's position can you be very clear about what Jordan's position would be if a confrontation between Iran and Israel were to happen again? What is your message about the use of Jordanian airspace?
First of all, Becky, yes, Jordanians are angry. All of us are angry, outraged indeed at the continuation of the massacring of the Palestinian people in Gaza, at the measures that are killing the prospects for achieving peace on the West Bank. And that is a sentiment that is in Jordan, in the Arab Muslim world, and I believe is spreading across the world at large. As for your question on the possibility of confrontation, our message has been clear to the Iranians, to the Israelis, that we will not be a battleground for anybody. We will not allow anybody, to the extent that we can, to violate our airspace. Our first responsibility is towards our people, protecting the sovereignty of our country and the safety of our people. So our position is that nobody should use our airspace. Nobody should subject our people to the threat of any projectile falling over any of our territory and harming our people. And that is a position that we've communicated to both the Iranians and the Israelis in very unequivocal terms. We will not be a battleground in a confrontation that will do nothing but cause further destruction and further harm. It will not end the occupation, and it will not end the confrontation between Iran and Israel. So it's just another round of tit-for-tat confrontations that we will not be caught in the middle of, and we will not allow our security and the safety of our people to be jeopardized by it.
How concerned are you at present? Because, Jordan is in a very tough position domestically, keeping in mind many in the population would view Iranian retaliation as avenging the assassination of the Hamas political leader, Ismail Haniyeh. Things could get very ugly, could they not?
I mean, they could get ugly for the whole region. I mean, more war, more confrontation will threaten the stability of the whole region. As far as Jordan are concerned, as I said, I mean, the official position and the people's position are the same. We want this aggression to end. We want its root causes, which is occupation, to end. And we will protect our country and the safety of our people. So the threat is really a regional to the whole region. Again, we cannot be caught in the middle of all of that. And I think the path to saving the whole region from the threat of further war is very clear, as I said, end the war in Gaza, force Israel to respect international law, stop this radical government continuing to escalate, whether in the occupied Palestinian territory and beyond, including in Lebanon, and then we'll have a path out of this quagmire. But as far as Jordan is concerned, we have the same position between the government and the people on what needs to be done, and we will continue to coordinate with all our friends and partners in the region and beyond to make sure that we have progress towards the ultimate objective of ending this war and the threat it poses to the whole region.
Let me just put this to you briefly. I mean, your message is that a ceasefire is the answer to the quagmire, as you describe it, that the region is in at present and is the only option in de-escalation. The US president ramping up pressure for a ceasefire. He met with the Emir of Qatar yesterday. He spoke with the Emir of Qatar yesterday, posting this image saying, "We agree it's time to bring the process to closure as soon as possible." Do you get any sense from the Israelis that they are more serious about securing a ceasefire at this point? And I have to ask you again, given the appointment of Yahya Sinwar as the political leader of Hamas, you need two parties, in order to broker a deal. Is Hamas, under the leadership and one assumes key negotiating position for Sinwar, are they an honest broker at this point? Are they a party that the Israelis will be willing to talk to, if only indirectly, as we know has been going on? Is that realistic?
I mean, first of all, yes, we do believe that the first step towards de-escalation is getting a permanent ceasefire and ending the aggression on Gaza. That will just open the many opportunities to make sure that we go further towards de-escalation on all other fronts. Secondly, again, we do support the ongoing negotiations, which have stopped now after the assassination of Haniya, but we did support and we do support negotiations to come to an exchange deal. I think here the issue is it's not just about persons, it's about what are the components of that ceasefire. Based on what we understood from our partners who've been engaged in the negotiations, that they were close. However, Netanyahu kept changing the terms of the agreement that was being almost concluded. Now I think it's not a question of individuals or who represents Hamas or not. It's about the elements of the ceasefire, and I think that is where we need to be focused. Are we able to put on the table a proposal that will meet the conditions necessary for a ceasefire to be implemented or not? So that is the question, and we believe that if we're able to put those components on the table and everybody to commit to that, that we will be able to get to that ceasefire, which is a must to end the suffering of the Palestinian people, to end the destruction of Gaza, and to end the threat of regional escalation that would be devastating in every way. So, yes, we do believe that the first step is de-escalation, and we want the whole world to come very forcefully now, 10 months into this brutal aggression, to say enough is enough. And the party that is responsible for the continuation of the war, and the party that is blocking the path to ending the aggression and then get the region on a path to peace, must be held accountable and must face consequences.
That is the view of the Jordanian Foreign Minister. Very much appreciate your time. I know that you've taken yourself out of this meeting to join us here today. Your first interview, of course, since your trip to Tehran. Foreign Minister, thank you very much indeed for joining us. We'll CNN